Hey, our next unit is going to be on forces. And forces is a pretty exciting unit. I think you'll like it. I really hope so. We're going to start with this activity called the forces foldable. And I'm going to help you get started on that today. Now let's scoot over. I'm going to look, because we have our first question. So what is a force? Because we're going to do a whole unit on forces. And that's what your project's about. A force is a push or a pull on an object. That might seem like really simple, like something you'd say to a third grader, but really that's the definition of forces. Now let's look at a couple of examples. So here are some types of forces. Some of them you probably recognize. You've probably heard of friction, gravity. Maybe you've heard of drag force, buoyant force, maybe. You've heard of magnetic force. Some of the others might look familiar, but those are just some examples. So we're going to do, look, I scribbled all over the page, oh well. We're going to do a project where you make this little foldable right here. Each of these little flaps opens up and there's information inside. I had a little video right here over on this side, but it's not working, so it's okay. So how do you do this? You have two papers in class today. There's this one right here, and they're the directions and the articles for you to read. There's also, I want you to know, a digital file in Google Classroom. Some of you like using the digital file better, and that's fine. You can use that, or you can use the paper. Would you please leave the blue papers here today when you're done, because my next classes are going to need them, and I don't expect that everything is going to be completely done today. If there's one you don't finish, then you can finish that when I see you on Tuesday. The other paper you're going to get is this one, and this is the one that you're going to write on. And you can see here's the first force called normal force that you're going to do. Okay, so now let's take a look. Oh, look at me, I'm not doing this that well. I scribble all over the page, but oh well. So here is the blue paper with your instructions. And this kind of shows you what your final product is going to look like. When you flip up the little page on normal force, you'll be able to read about it. Now in the blue paper that you have on page 2, we have an article on normal force, applied forces on page 3, and so forth. So the next thing is, well, what am I supposed to do, right? That might be what you're thinking. You have these little rectangles like this, and there are 5 of them. And this right here gives you an idea of what to do. And this is on the front of the blue paper. You're going to write in the definition for the force. You're going to draw an example. And you can use the examples that are in the article. That's fine. You can also make up a different picture. That's fine as long as it shows the force. And then down here, once you've drawn your example, we want you to explain your example. Just write a short description, okay, explaining the picture that you drew above. How does that show that kind of force? How does your picture show that? And then last, we want you to come up with one extra detail. Okay, there's not a lot of space, so this is probably a very short sentence, where you tell me something that is beyond the definition that you read in the article. And there are many possible answers, okay? There's not just one thing I'm looking for. It could be lots of things. So now I want you to look, if you are going to do the one that's on friction, you would have this rectangle together, and it goes over all the things we just said, and you should have your friction article out in front of you. So you can either do digital or, on the computer, or you can use the blue paper, and you should use the information here. I can even see right here is the definition for friction. I think you can probably finish all of these today, but if for some reason, you get called out of class or you don't have quite enough time, there'll be a little time to finish the writing on Tuesday when we get back from the break. So I want to point out that today there's not going to be any cutting or gluing. Okay, we're going to do that all at once on Tuesday, so I don't want you to lose little pieces of paper over the weekend, so don't cut anything, even if you finish early. You're going to write down information about each force in the rectangular graphic organizers like I just showed you. If you have extra time, use color pencils and make your project look a little better. Okay, and then we will cut and glue them together on Tuesday. If you have questions, definitely ask your guest teacher there today.